The NBA's trade deadline passed a little while ago, and since then teams have begun to settle in with their newly acquired players to shift their focuses towards hopefully making a playoff push. No more deals can be done this season, but also not every team is realistically in a position to make a run at the playoffs, so for the teams at the bottom of the standings, they should begin to prioritize their long-term strategies, and looking ahead at potential deals they could make in the future to get themselves out of the basement would probably be wise. National media outlet Bleacher Report had this same idea and recently published an article where they proposed some hypothetical trades for the league's worst teams that they could make to turn them around, and as I have done countless times on this channel in the past, I'm here to analyze these proposed deals. Additionally, if you want to read the actual article itself, that will be linked down in the description of the video, and also make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Before we start though, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. PrizePicks is the perfect service for all of us basketball fans here because when you're involved, it makes watching games every night so much more fun and engaging. Basically, it's an application that provides you with lines on all kinds of individual player props, such as points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers made amongst others, and you simply have to choose whether you believe they will record over the set amount in the line or under the set amount in the line. Make your selections, wager however much you want to, and if your picks hit, you can win some big money. For some picks that I'm looking at making for today's slate of games, I'm thinking of going with Kyrie Irving to score over 23.5 points, Andre Drummond to grab over 10.5 rebounds, and Desmond Bane to make over 2.5 threes. If this sounds at all intriguing to you, then go use the link down in the description of the video to sign up today, and use promo code REFERENCE to receive a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. The first proposed trade in the article that we'll be analyzing today is between the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks, and in it the Pistons receive Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter in exchange for Jeremy Grant. This is the kind of deal that looks nice on paper, but there are so many other factors that you need to take into account that make me skeptical about it working out. Sure, on paper, Jeremy Grant's ability to play versatile defense and his scoring would be a welcome boost in Atlanta if he were to buy into that kind of role, but the issue is that Grant literally chose to leave the Denver Nuggets a few years back when he was excelling in this kind of role because he wanted to be a go-to guy, which I'm not sure he would be in the Atlanta team. Trae Young is who the offense runs through, and the Hawks also already have John Collins at Grant's ideal power forward position. Plus, Collins himself has already been vocal countless times about how he gets frustrated by the fact that he's not more heavily featured in the team's offense as he wants to be. So imagine the frustration of two power forwards that want the ball more in the same lineup. Grant and his camp have made it clear that he wants to go to a team where he can continue to be a go-to guy in the future, and I just don't see that being the case in Atlanta. From the Pistons' perspective, this would be a magnificent haul for Grant though, as both Huerter and Hunter would give their young core a fantastic boost both offensively and defensively, but because of the whole Grant situation, I don't think this is very realistic. The next deal in the article is between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets, and in it the Lakers receive John Wall and Eric Gordon in exchange for Russell Westbrook, Talon Horton-Tucker, and a first-round pick. Westbrook and Wall just can't seem to stay away from each other as they have literally already been traded for each other once already, and now there are rumors that the Lakers have considered swapping the two of them again. No deal came by the trade deadline, but the idea here is that the two teams may try to pick up where they left off in discussions in the offseason, and I'm just sitting here wondering why exactly. Like, the Russell Westbrook experience in LA definitely isn't going very well, and I know they will be looking to trade him this offseason, but why of all people would John Wall be the target? The last time we saw John Wall on an NBA court, he was one of the least efficient volume scorers in the league, his defense was close to abysmal, his assist to turnover ratio was was the worst of his career. Plus, by the time the offseason comes around, he will have gone over a full year without playing an NBA game. So unless I'm missing something, he doesn't fix any of the problems that is currently being experienced with Russell Westbrook on the Lakers. Eric Gordon is a clear upgrade over Talen Horton-Tucker, sure, but is that really enough of a reason to pull the trigger on a trade like this? Then looking at it from the Rockets' perspective, they're a rebuilding team with their backcourt of the future already set in place, so bringing in Russell Westbrook does way more harm than good for where their priorities lie as well. Needless to say, this feels like a disaster of a deal for both teams involved, but because of how reports are out there saying the teams have had conversations about it, it somehow wouldn't surprise me if it actually happened. The next trade in the article is between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New Orleans Pelicans, and in it the Thunder receive Zion Williamson in exchange for Darius Bazley and 3 protected first-round picks. We've all been following the Zion Williamson situation in New Orleans, and there definitely is at least a little bit of tension there, so it makes sense for Zion trade rumors to start popping up. The Pelicans just got aggressive trading for CJ McCollum, and the team has been playing pretty well since, while waiting for Zion to get back on the court with them. If this still isn't enough to get Zion Williamson to buy in, and he does eventually ask out still, I agree that the draft compensation required in any offer for him is going to be around 3 first-round picks, but the protections on all of the picks in this hypothetical drastically reduce their value, and Darius Bazley being the only player in the offer leads me to believe that this is not nearly enough to acquire someone like Zion. The Thunder have a treasure chest of assets at their disposal and could absolutely afford to throw even more in an offer, so while this particular offer isn't great, they are a team capable of making a worthwhile one. The main problem though is that if competing and playing for a big market truly are Zion's priorities, which is what it seems to be, then the Thunder don't check either of those 2 boxes in the near future. I still don't think Zion is getting traded overall, but if he does, I just don't think he's going to want to go from one rebuilding team to another. And finally, the last trade proposal we'll be looking at today from the article is between the Orlando Magic and the New York Knicks, and in it the Knicks receive Markelle Fultz in exchange for Cam Reddish and Kemba Walker. When Cam Reddish got traded to the Knicks earlier this year, everybody in the NBA community celebrated it as a way for him to finally get an opportunity to have a bigger role and potentially flourish, because the Knicks are a team severely lacking in wing depth. Yet since his arrival, coach Tom Thibodeau has barely used him at all, and some reports have leaked out saying that Tibbs didn't even want the team to trade for him at all. Once again, Reddish is stuck in a situation where opportunity is limited, and while we do eventually have to start holding him accountable for his shortcomings, it's tough to prove yourself without opportunity. The Magic are a perfect fit for him as a young, rebuilding team also in need of wing players, so he would fit their roster construction and their timeline that they're on pretty well. On the flip side, Markelle Fultz is back healthy after recovering from his ACL, but with both Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony building chemistry together in the Magic backcourt, he may be the odd point guard out, and the Knicks just so happen to still be looking for a point guard. At first glance, this may seem like a lopsided trade, but at this point in his career, Kemba Walker can only really produce in limited minutes, and in Orlando would be a good veteran for the young guys to learn from without having many expectations. So if Fultz can continue to build on the progress that he was making before he got injured, then I kind of like this trade for both sides. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these hypothetical offers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.